love the Freedom Fiends. But in this modern busy world, I just don't have time to listen all the way through every episode.
There is a solution. Go to the World Wide Web and log on to digest.freedomfiends.com and subscribe to the Freedom Fiends Digest. Digest.freedomfiends.com has 20-minute best-ofs of each episode.
20-minute best-ofs? Digest.freedomfiends.com sounds great. How much does it cost?
That's the best part. It's free. And if you listen at 1.5 speed, they're only 13 minutes long. Plus, the episodes are only about 15 megs, which is great, because I have a limited data plan.
Wow. I'm at digest.freedomfiends.com right now. It's so simple to use. And anyone who doesn't have 13 minutes to listen to the Freedom Fiends is a big old statist.
I agree with you about people who can't find 13 minutes to listen to the Freedom Fiends Digest. That's digest.freedomfiends.com. Enlisting the help of other people, and these two fine gentlemen, well, supposed to be these two final gentlemen, apparently just Jason doing all the heavy lifting. Andre's just, saying he's going to do shit. But
yeah, always over-promising and under-delivering. I'm just like the U.S. Army, man.
Oh, well.
I come from good stock.
You're living right up to your training, brother.
That's right, man. It's that government program, and it never goes away.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 124th episode of the Seeds of Liberty podcast. As always, we are covered by a BIPCOT no government license. This allows reuse by anyone except governments and the agents thereof. You can find out more information about this at bipcot.org. So we are back after taking yet another week off last week. I am Jeremy, joined as always by Andre. What's up, Andre?
Hey, what's going on? I'm the first name on the billet today.
Yeah, Dave. We should just make that permanent. Dave's out of town, so he's taking the week off. And but we are joined this week. We have a fill-in host, which will probably be better than having Dave here anyway. We have our friend Jason Booth returning. Hey, Jason, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, what's up, Jeremy? What's up, Andre? It's going good tonight, man. It's going real good.
Well, that's good to hear.
Well, I imagine it would be going a lot better if I hadn't slacked off on transcribing the Vonu stuff for Shane. But hey, it is what it is. I get to kick myself in the ass for that one a few more times before I let it go.
Yes, we were talking about that before.
It's all right. I just got handed another piece to transcribe, and it's like 12,000 more words.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, we were talking before we started recording. Our friend Shane Radliff, who does the Liberty Under Attack podcast and the Vonu podcast, has gotten a whole bunch of more information in, and he's enlisting the help of other people. And these two fine gentlemen, well, supposed to be these two final gentlemen, apparently just Jason doing all the heavy lifting. Andre's just saying he's going to do shit. But
yeah, always over-promising and under-delivering. I'm just like the U.S. Army, man.
Oh, well.
I come from good stock.
You're living right up to your training, brother.
That's right, man. It's that government program, and it never goes away.
CO was it? What is it? Your CO? Is that what it is? You should be proud. Anyway, like I said before we started the show, don't feel too bad because that's a project transcribing all the information that Shane is slowly but surely obtaining, and with the help of others of the limited amount of resources about Vonu out there, which we've had Shane on to talk about this show. I wanted to start helping him with that too, because I'm a big fan of that project, and I really appreciate the fact that him and Kyle have done as much work as they have done so far to get that whole thing running and put that podcast out regularly. And Shane especially, because Kyle's like me, tends to go into hermit mode apparently every once in a while and just disappears. But now, Jason, you've been officially asked. I heard it was quite nice of Shane to drop that on you, like when there's pressure on. It was like no pressure, but I'm going to ask you while we're doing a live recording. How would you like to be the permanent co-host here?
Oh, God. And he did right, like 5 minutes into the second or third time we recorded, he drops that. I'm just like, sure, I guess, yeah, I can help.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
he apologized like a dozen times after we recorded about that.
He wanted the live reaction, you know. That's part of
Hey man, that shit sells. That shit sells on the radio. It's all we got.
It's part of the fiends training, because Michael beats that into all of our heads, and Shane spent a little time as a fiend, so maybe that rubbed off on him. I don't know. Although as I was saying that and you were responding, I was starting to think, didn't we do that to you, Andre? I think we might have talked about it, but didn't we actually officially ask you
mentioned
on the show?
You mentioned it the show before, and then the next show, you were like, oh, hey,
so
check
actually,
this out.
Technically, yeah. Actually, never mind.
I did get advance notice that time.
Okay. Because I was going to say, otherwise, forget I said anything. Just good job, Shane. But yeah, so that should be that should be good. I do enjoy that show. I do enjoy listening to it, and you definitely had a lot of input to offer there during that last episode I listened to, Jason. That was great with all of your knowledge of the areas that you guys were talking about specifically and stuff. And it's one of those podcasts that even though it's usually a little longer than I like to listen to in one clip, I don't mind, because I'm always learning something.
Yeah, it's every show, like every piece of writing that I get to read, and I get to read all this before you guys get to read it because I'm editing it. But oh my God, man, it's so much food for thought. Like you can't read it and not spend the next like hour or 2 hours with your mind going 900 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's
well, I know all about that.
Well, yeah,
that's
I know.
all I've been reading. That's all I've been reading for the last like 2 months is shit that's so dense with knowledge and information that you can't help but sit there and like let your mind unravel trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, I don't know if my mind can handle that anymore. I'm gonna go in small doses. Although I say that I finally just I was mentioning before we started recording, I finally just a book I've had sitting I bought almost like actually over a year ago. I was reminded today that I think I bought it last July and started it shortly thereafter. I got like 30 pages in it and put it down, and finally got back to it in the past couple of weeks, which was a fiction book, but Still Life with Woodpecker, which is actually a very good book. I highly recommend it to people.
I have that sitting on my bedside table, and I've read maybe 10 pages.
I know we've talked about that before. The last time we talked about it was when I was somewhere around the 30-page mark, and I just left it sitting there forever, just because I get so distracted with everything else, and between all the different shows that I record, and the fact that I use to communicate with a lot of people, I use either Telegram or Signal, so I'm constantly speaking a lot these days. Where I was largely quiet for years when I was doing the dog business, because it was just me and the dogs and listening to podcasts and hanging out. But now that I do so many things through the spoken word, I don't have time, or I don't make time, I should say, to actually sit down and read. And other than like articles and stuff for shows that I'm doing, and just any other articles that come across my feed that I'm interested in, but sitting down to actually read a book, I just haven't had it in me for the longest time. So I need to retrain my brain, I think, which is great, because then as soon as I put that down, I picked up the new translation of Sterner's book, with the new title, "The Unique in Its Property," and I'm gonna go slog through that for the next couple of weeks. So that should kick my brain back into gear.
Oh, speaking of slogging, I couldn't finish Sterner. I tried, but I couldn't.
Yeah, I figured as much. That's all right. At least you tried, man. It's more than I could say for Dave.
Yeah, no, and I do feel bad about it, because I did commit myself to doing it, and man, did I tried. But after a while, I just I couldn't sit there and read anymore. I was like, okay, I'm done.
That original translation is kind of brutal. I've read through most of it, and I've listened to it on audiobook a couple of times, and it's rough. the new translation.
Weren't you supposed to send me to a link to the new translation?
I thought I did, but if I didn't, I'll try to remember to do it after the show.
Okay, I'll remind you.
Yeah, I have. I've had my copy. I bought it shortly after it came out, but it's just been sitting there, and I'm finally going to start to read it. But it promises to be a lot better. And so far, everybody I've talked to who has read it has said it's a much easier to read translation. I mean, it's still it's still a little rough in spots, but it's much smoother, and his sarcasm comes out a lot more. So that should prove to be interesting. But any hoodle. So yeah, reading is fundamental, kids. Get on that shit.
Yes. If you can't read, you're going to end up living in a van down by the river.
That's not necessarily such a bad thing, though. I actually know a couple of people who do that.
Eating a steady diet of government cheese.
Wow, that's a different story. These people I know don't eat government cheese.
Living in a van down by the water is an acceptable form of Vanuism.
This is true. Van nomadism, right?
Yes, van nomadism.
Yes,
that's correct.
Yes. It didn't. That was what Rayo did, wasn't it?
Yes, exactly.
For part of the time, yeah.
Yeah, that was
the rest of the time he was a wilderness Vanu.
Yeah, the van nomadism seems more appealing to me, just because to be able to travel, even though you have to deal with the government. What does he call them? The tags, the slave papers. Is that what he refers to them as? I can't remember.
I think slave papers was one of them.
Something along those lines.
And he also calls the servile society.
Oh yeah,
yes, the servile society.
And I love his use of the word bludgy.
Me too.
yeah. That's Shane introduced me to that, and it's apt. It's a very apt description. I'm surprised I haven't run across it anytime before then, but it's a good word to use.
I tried to start a hashtag campaign where I replaced a C and a cab to a B, so it was all bludgies are bastards. Didn't take off, unfortunately. Have to try that again at some point. ab. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of that word though. But anywho, this week, I guess, among other things, I was going to give an update. I was hoping to give a much more of an update. I was hoping we were finally going to get to go do a full-fledged show on my ordeal, which is now stretching into we're closing in on 6 months, or getting there close. We're at the end of September, so we've already gone through 5 months of this nonsense with the fallout from. What did I refer to it as? I referred to it as a hashtag the other day about the great parasite butthurt of 2017, and the fallout of that, and
so much butthurt.
The subsequent arrest that I went through for trying to get trespassers off my lawn. So, but unfortunately, the case is still not over. It got adjourned again. So I can't tell the full story like I'd like to, but I figured I would give an update to our fans or anybody who gives a crap. And just because, well, you know what, I'm getting pissed off at this point, and I'm becoming less and less concerned with keeping completely quiet because it's just eating at me. And, I have a couple people also who check in every once in a while, especially when they know that my court case is coming up, like independent journalists. They're like, is it done yet? Can we do a story yet? No, not allowed. But anyway, so... yeah, court was adjourned again. This time, technically, it was by my side, although the DA's office did their best to push me into that once again, because even though they've kept dangling this promise of a plea offer coming across the table, they kept refusing to do so. After the last court date, which is the one I didn't have to show up for, according to the judge, they had requested that we I provide character references, character reference letters to them, to try to help them determine whether I was actually a threat to society or some bullshit like that. And my first reaction to this, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this too, is my first reaction when they said that my lawyer told me this, I was like, that's going to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. And he just kind of looked at me. I'm like, why would anybody that's I take that line of thought in my business, and there's a reason I don't ask for references when I'm thinking about hiring somebody. I'm like, it's the same thing here, and my lawyer is still just looking completely puzzled. I'm like, why would anybody in their right mind hand you anything that isn't a good referral, that doesn't talk you up and make you look wonderful? You'd have to be an idiot to hand in something other than that. This is the biggest waste of time in the fucking world.
That just sounds dumb.
It's the same way with references, on an application or whatever else. No, you're not going to put anybody that's going to speak bad about you.
Yeah, you'd either have to be an idiot or a masochist in order to do something like that, So
not only that, but what the hell is this threat to society business? And how on earth are character references on paper, affidavits, going to do anything with relation to that?
Well, I don't know. You're the law man, Andre. I don't know. You tell me.
It doesn't mean anything. It's completely superfluous. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense.
Well, thank you for confirming my bias there. But that's what I thought. But my lawyer eventually my lawyer agreed with me and was just like, but this is what they want, and it could hopefully go a long way towards finally making them move and actually present a deal, an offer, or finally agree to dismiss this or ACOD it or whatever it's actually called. And so I said fine. So I collected a bunch of these and I handed them in. I was told just get them in plenty of time before the next court date. So I gave them like 2.5 weeks, and they still sat on it, did nothing. My lawyer checked in multiple times, nothing. They literally wait. Court was supposed to start at court's supposed to start at 9:30 a.m. I got there and got inside and upstairs near the courtroom at about 9:25. I ran into my lawyer a couple minutes later. He told me that he had just come from the DA's office, and they had just then finally presented an offer. So that was within 15 or 20 minutes of me running into him. So they waited until literally the last possible minute to finally give this offer, which meant by the time court started and the judge actually, gets around to sitting his ass on the bench, I had anywhere from half an hour to most likely an hour and a half to decide of whether I wanted to take the deal that they were offering or not. Even though they have delayed this thing, they have used all three of the adjournments they're allowed to call for essentially no reason, I've learned. Just like a cop can utter the phrase, "I was afraid for my life," the DA can utter the phrase, "We need more time, Your Honor." And that's it. That's all they have to say. And the judge goes, "Okay, adjourned until such and such a date," which is always at least a month later, a month down the road. So they've already
kicking that can, man. That's what the government does.
Exactly. So they've been able to, they've exhausted all of those already, and then they forced my side into essentially either taking this deal with no time to really process it and think about the implications and stuff like that. And I'll just say, I wasn't very thrilled with the deal. Aside from the fact that I don't want to have to plead guilty to anything that I don't believe that I did, regardless of how easy it makes it on me, which is my lawyer was trying to convince me of this entire time. But among the other things that, that the stipulations of me getting this deal and what they were, what I would have to do in return for them, essentially, the one thing that really pissed me off the most was, on top of everything else they added in there, was at that point, and still at this point, because they never actually disclosed it, was an undisclosed amount of fines with the accompanying surcharges.
No. No.
And I was like, oh, no. And my lawyer looked at me. I'm like, I can't do this, man. This is insane. You want me to, I've already had to shell out money. I'm like, and luckily, thanks to the generosity of a bunch of people, when the fundraising events happened, I was able to take care of my legal fees for the first part of this. And, I'm at a point where now it's been, almost 6 months. And they obviously waited till the last minute because after talking to a couple of people in the legal profession after the fact, they were all like, "Oh yeah, that's a common tactic. It's pretty much just extend it as far as you could possibly go and then drop the deal on you, hoping that you'll take it just so this whole thing goes away because you're so tired of dealing with it." Yep. So, and I was just like, I know that's what they want. And at that point, my lawyer wanted me to do that too. And I'm like, I can't, man. I'm like, the principal thing is bad enough. And I know you don't get that. As I said to him, I know you don't understand that. But why, if I'm going to have to pay money to them anyway, if I lose, I'm like, then I might as well just fight it, right? I'm gonna have to pay for another lawyer because the whole deal with this guy was he was only there to try to get me out of this. If it went to trial, he was jumping ship, which was fine because that was the voluntary agreement we entered into to begin with. And the only reason the plan actually became that I was going to take this deal only because he told me that with the amount of time it was going to be, and the way things work. Another thing I learned about Nassau County apparently is if I were to accept the deal, then I would have to complete all the steps that they wanted me to do and all the things they wanted me to do, and pay the fines before I would have to come back one more time for the official sentencing. But because of the way it works like that, I would still have the opportunity to back out of it if I decided, if in a couple of weeks I was just like, screw this, I want to go to trial anyway. I could do that. So it's like, all right, all set to do this, even though it's killing me with every fiber that I'm even going to be accepting the deal, even temporarily. I really don't want to do this.
I would advise you to be extremely cautious about that, because generally speaking, once you sign a plea agreement, that signature is your assent to whatever the terms of the plea agreement are. Like, I understand, you've been told that you can kind of back out of it before the sentencing hearing. That may or may not be the case. It's all going to depend on how that contract is worded.
Well, yeah, obviously, I understand that, but this was what the advice I got from my legal counsel. So I said, okay, fine, whatever. So we go in there to top the morning off. We walk in there to find out that our judge, who's been there for all 5 appearances before this, is not there. So they basically just have a substitute teacher judge in there. And my lawyer decides to pull an audible at the line of scrimmage and ask for an adjournment. And basically, as we're walking out, I was like, well, you got what you wanted. And I was like, I'm so confused. But, whatever. I ended up getting what I wanted anyway, because I just needed a little more time, because the DA's office agreed to keep the deal on the table until the next hearing, which coincidentally is Halloween. And I don't think I'm going to be getting any treats that day, which kind of sucks. But anyway, so yeah, but after speaking with my lawyer afterwards and talking to my cousin, who's the person who hooked me up with my lawyer, and then my cousin talking to the guy that he would send me if I decided to go to trial, and then getting a figure as far as money from the guy, which is a lot of money I don't have, but a hell of a lot less than I thought it was going to be. I'm seriously considering just saying, fuck this, and I'm going to fight it, because obviously, this is going to be a matter of public record as this podcast goes out worldwide. So I'm not committing to anything here, NSA. Thank you very much. However, I don't want this being that used against me, but I'm strongly leaning towards, if I can come up with the money, taking this to trial, because even my lawyer, after the fact, we've butted heads multiple times through this entire ordeal philosophically. Because while he tries to tell me he understands what I'm fighting for, he really doesn't think that, the first time I ever mentioned the words, mentioned going pro se to him. That's what it is, right, Andre? Pro se, when you represent yourself?
Yeah, pro se, your own defense.
He just kind of scoffed at me and was like, well, people have done it before. Occasionally they win. Highly wouldn't recommend it. To after everything that has gone down and as far as they've taken us and everything they've done to me, and him knowing the facts of the case that both sides have at the present moment, he actually told me that at this point he's actually come around to thinking that even if I took this case pro se, he thinks I have a pretty darn good chance of winning this thing. So it should be interesting. Like I said, I don't know. I have some time to think about this, but I am meeting with this lawyer tomorrow, actually. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see what this guy thinks, because apparently he's kind of a shark, and was a former DA in the very office that I'm going up against. And from what I've been told from multiple sources, he's the type of guy that when people see his name on the opposing counsel, they're just like, their first reaction is just put their head down and say, fuck. So that bodes well for me.
Yes.
Yeah,
A predator is your defense is a very good sign.
Coming up with the money for it's a whole nother issue, but
you got 2 kidneys. You don't need one.
A great spot in Tijuana that you can hawk them for quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
And they'll send it to you in Bitcoin.
You can donate. You can donate half your liver, and it'll grow back in like 8 weeks. Just a thought.
Well, things haven't quite got that desperate yet, but you know, I thank you guys for the suggestions. I may keep. I'll keep those in mind. Because
telling you, man, they pay you in Bitcoin. It's worth it.
Well, that is enticing for me, even though I'm still waiting for Jax to finish their Bitcoin Cash integration so I can get a hold of my Bitcoin Cash easily without having to go through all the process that everybody else did, so I can start using Bitcoin again. And hopefully, well, I'd love to collect some. In case I forget to mention at the end of the show, we do have new links in the show notes for all different types of cryptocurrency wallets that you can donate to the show to if you're looking to help us out. Bitcoin's obviously always appreciated, but I know a lot of people are hodling their Bitcoin at the current moment because of the wild swings in prices lately, especially. But we do now accept Ethereum, Dash, LiteCoin, and ZCash. So you know,
when are you going to start accepting Steam?
I don't. Do you? I mean,
I imagine.
You know what? You collect Steam, right? You have a Steam address. We'll put your Steam address in the show notes if people want to donate Steam to you. How's that, Andre?
All right, I can dig it.
I am totally.
I can dig it. I'll use it for the show.
I am totally fine with that, man. Well, because currently we also have an Amazon affiliate link up now. Unfortunately, Amazon is royally fucking with me. But hopefully, if more people start using this, they'll get over their problems. I don't know what the hell's going on, but they have flagged.
What's Amazon doing?
Well, we actually had an Amazon affiliate link when we first started. Dave started it up, and he got tired of it after like 6 months, and he said apparently we weren't drawing in anywhere near what he thought we should be drawing in, so he just shut it down and said screw it. So I finally decided to start one up again for us to see what we could do. And so far, there have been 22 orders placed on that account, and not a single one has been credited to us. And
that's some bullshit.
When I wrote, when I tried to contact them, be like, hey, what's the deal here? I got a message back, which was essentially mostly a form letter, but stating that they had checked the account and it appeared that all of the purchases had either been made by the associate, meaning I made them, or people trying to help out the associate by making orders for him in his stead, or friends, family, or other people that you gave the link to directly, which is the most bizarre thing in the world, because I'm like, how are you supposed and then they went on to say that they're trying to encourage, this isn't a discount program, it's an incentive program, and they're trying to entice new people to Amazon. And I'm like, so wait a minute, so like if somehow you find out I have any type of connection with anybody who's ever ordered from Amazon, it doesn't count? But they would never give me an answer, because anytime I send a reply email with a follow-up question, they would tell me that they're sorry for the inconvenience, there's nothing else they could do, and they're not going to reply to this matter anymore. And I've tried this twice now, and I've got the same type of results. And it's driving me batty.
Yeah, how the hell does that make sense? Amazon is like the #1 online market retailer. What are you
going to
do? Market your stuff to are you going to try and convince people in Sri Lanka to go through your Amazon affiliate?
Well, we've gotten clicks from all over the world already, but still, I'm like, now I know some of those purchases were mine. And I even said in the messages back and forth to them, I understand, because it says, we understand that if you make accidental purchases, especially when you're first setting the thing up and testing things out. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. I was testing the links out, and I kind of forgot that it was on there, and then I had to order stuff. So yeah, of course, I don't expect credit for things I order myself. I totally get that. But the first person I knew ordered something was Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends, because he had been asking me for the longest time if I had an affiliate link that he could use.
He's a friend. He's a friend.
How does Amazon know that?
They probably know more than the NSA at this point. The NSA probably asked them for information.
Well,
anytime they have a question about some dude, they're like, "Hey, Amazon, we got this dude kind of having trouble picking out information. Can you give us a hand?"
The only thing we could come up with is possibly somehow they recognize that I used his link previously, because I've used the Freedom Fiends Amazon affiliate link in the past. But we couldn't think of any other reason why, other than you may not be actually that far off, though, because another part of the email they sent me when I asked, the second time around, I was like, well, what evidence do you have that I'm connected to these people? I'm like, I get if I did it accidentally, but like, I handed this out to like fans of my show. I'm like, I may see them on social media or something, but I'm not like, I don't know these people. How, like, what's the criteria? And their response was, because of the proprietary nature of our software, we cannot divulge all the way that we determine this criteria. I was like, whoa.
We are watching.
Exactly. I was like, 1980 fucking 4, motherfucker. Holy shit. Like, they know everything. Amazon, like, Michael's joked about that on the Fiends for years, about Amazon taking over the world. And yep, they are.
See, I always thought it would be Google that would like transform itself into Weyland-Yutani.
Right?
Man. Maybe they will. Maybe Google will acquire Amazon and then go on to acquire.
I don't know, man.
Boeing, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon.
I think everybody just slept a little too hard on Bezos because they weren't showing a profit for like a decade. But look what's happened since.
Yeah, that's true. You got a point. Amazon has gone like leaps and bounds.
The guy has. It's pretty amazing, but yeah, it was kind of pissing me off. But I mean, so we have this link up, and I know other people, because like I said, I stopped ordering I haven't ordered anything for the past couple of days, so I know it wasn't me making accidental orders. I know Michael stopped ordering because he felt he wanted to try again, but then like he was worried because they obviously know there's a connection between us somehow. He's like afraid it was going to negatively impact the stuff that he does there.
They know
exactly
the connection.
So he hasn't used it. So I have no idea who the other like 10 to 15 purchases came from. But I haven't got credit. We haven't got a credit for a single one. But if you would like to try, I will put the link, the shortened URL link up in the show notes. And anybody who wishes to try it out, our good friend Paul Gordon, who I once again want to thank for not only finally putting together our well, it's not his fault that I shouldn't say finally, Dave's fault that it was finally, but putting together our website and also letting us use his servers for the website for the time being. I told him no rush, but he's going to put the one of the banner links up on the site at some point, hopefully soon. For the time being, I'll put that link up there. So if anybody at least wants to try using it, we'd appreciate it. See if we finally start getting credit for this. And because if nothing else, it's obviously because we already had an account before. This is my personal account that's going into this, but Dave collected all the Bitcoin we ever got and has been collecting the Patreon money this entire time. So I think it's time I at least got some of the money back for all the work I put in for these 123 and a half now episodes.
Use the link, buy tinfoil, put your hat on, protect yourself from Amazon.
Yes. Well, I unfortunately, normally I try not to cyberbeg. I mean, I was always the one when Danilo was still here and would try to make the announcements about, where you could donate to us every week at the show. I would try to cut them off and be like, don't worry about it. Just share and like and comment on our stuff. That's all that really matters to me. Unfortunately, on top of everything else I have going on, I'm going to be running into money problems really soon because it's now Thursday the 28th as we're recording this, and my business officially closes in 2 days. And because of court, I'm going to be stuck around here for most likely at least another 2 or 3 months, because my next court date isn't for another month, and then depending on how long it's probably going to be at least another month and a half, and possibly even 2, because it gets close enough to the Christmas break. They may just bump all the trials up until into the new year. So while I am free to leave the state on the conditions of my bail, I could technically move and then come back. I'm doing my best to make sure that I don't step foot in this Odin-forsaken state once I actually move out of here. So I'm going to be stuck here for a little while. And, business closing. No job lined up because, well, kind of hard for me to get work around here. And, still not exactly, I don't think I'm a household name per se anymore, but it's still close enough that pretty sure finding any type of work would be difficult. And I actually I actually managed to retain a good portion of my regular walking clients, because once I realized that things were not going, as planned going into this court date, I kind of just, reached out to everybody. It was like, hey, listen, if you still need somebody, because I knew a bunch of them up until like only a couple of weeks ago were still saying, you sure you can't stay? Or have you found anybody, that you can recommend yet? Because we still haven't found anybody. I managed to pull most of them back in and tell them, if they agreed, if they were okay with me going month by month, that I could stay on just for them, just so I would have like some money coming in. And of course, unfortunately, it was too long, so I lost a couple of them, which is kind of a bummer. But it's not really. I can't blame them. They they were trying to run a replacement. But I still have to cut everybody else loose, because I'm not insured anymore, and I also I can't have animals at the house anymore, because I have to start trying to do repairs and paint, getting the house all pretty to be able to sell it.
Right.
And I also really, really, really don't want to be working early in the morning or late at night anymore. So or on the weekends, if I can. I'll work on the weekends if I could find a job, but not doing this, because the work on the weekends was so sporadic that to keep doing that moving forward and not be able to secure like other revenue streams, if that's possible, seems kind of foolhardy. So I just have to say no altogether. So yeah, hashtag please donate. between that and the new round of legal fees, I don't know. A couple people have talked about trying to start a fundraiser up again for me. And like I said, normally I really hate asking, but the state has really kicked my ass with this. And this guy, doesn't go. I'm getting the family discount essentially, because he's my cousin's mentor actually, when they worked in the DA's office together. So I'm getting a nice discount, but he still doesn't come cheap. So anybody who wants to donate, so even like I said, even if we get the Amazon link working, it doesn't cost you anything at all to donate that way. If you just want to throw, use our link to be able to do that. And once I get through all this, then the money can start going back into making the show better. We still have our Patreon up too, and as promised, even though I'm going to continue working in some capacity over the next foreseeable future, as promised, starting next week, I'm going to start rolling out, hopefully at least one Patreon episode a week for the next 4 to 8 weeks. Right now, I think I have at least that much content built up. So our current Patreon subscribers can look forward to that, and if anybody else wants to check that stuff out, please feel free to follow those links as well, and go check out our Patreon page. And I think it's still set up. Donate as little as $1 as a show, and you can get everything. So there's that. So yeah, money, man. Sucks.
Money.
Yay.
We all need it.
Well, yeah, man. I needed just to get, well, just like anything else, when people tell us, if you don't like it here, leave. It's like, well, no, you still got to pay an exit fee. Like, yeah, I still got to pay to get the hell out of here.
Oh, yep. Land of the not free.
I'd love to just pick up and move.
Yeah. You and me both, man. I'm deep in California. I can't wait to get out of here.
Well, okay. Well,
Yeah,
what's
sucks,
what's
man.
actually holding you there now?
My kids still. My kids are 17, going to be 18 soon, still in high school.
Oh, I thought they were
and
already heading into the college this semester. I thought, yeah, okay, that's
No.
why. All right.
No, I'm not going to move away from my kids.
Well, obviously, I get that, obviously, but I mean, if they go to, well, I think you've talked about. I mean, if they end up going to, well, if they were to go to school and leave the state, then you have no ties, right? So is that kind of what you're waiting for?
If they go to college outside the state, then yeah, I'll probably be leaving California.
I mean, like I said, I get that.
I would jump on that opportunity if it comes up. No hesitation.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Well,
Especially since they want to ban the internal combustion engine here in the state.
God,
they haven't done
what
that
the
yet. I
hell
thought
is
they did. I
wrong
thought
with
they did
that
it years ago.
fucking state?
They want to ban the internal combustion engine.
Is that to stop the reliance on oil?
Let's see.
Probably just to be douchey hippie fucks, honestly. And this is a state with like the greatest number of classic cars. What are they gonna do? Just fucking like trash them all? Of course they would. It's California. Fuck you.
You know what's really funny about California, right? As huge as it is, 2 areas run this entire state: the San Francisco area and the Los Angeles area.
Yep, that's 100% true.
If the San Andreas fault goes off and those 2 fall into the ocean, California goes red in the next election.
It would be a decent place to live. It would be.
Assuming voting matters and all that other stuff. But
Wow.
Vote hard, faggots.
Well, that's not actually that uncommon. Much smaller version, but that's what we do. That's what I do here with here in New York. Upstates. As far as politics go, you go further north of like Westchester, and stuff like that, and it's pretty much all red as far as you can see, all the way up the rest of the state. And even out on here on Long Island is supposed to be like the Republican stronghold, supposedly, of the southern tier. But it's pretty much just New York City and the boroughs that run the entire state. Even though the capital is way up in Albany, 3 hours up north of me.
Capitals are for chumps.
But that they run the whole show, and
that's what it is. That's what it is here too. I mean, Sacramento is about 2 hours up I-80 from San Francisco, and it's a good 7 hours up I-5 from LA. So I mean, it's in the northern third of the state, but those 2 areas that aren't anywhere near it run the entire state.
Well,
it's ridiculous.
They are. I mean, you look at the population density, though. Like how many people. That's
people, what it is. Yeah, it's population density.
I mean, there's still. I mean, granted, California is a huge state with lots and lots and lots of people. So I still think they may be almost outnumbered to a certain extent, but still, it's that plus the culture. Those 2 combined definitely make everything run, and I'd assume a lot of it also has to do with the fact that Californians in general, I think, certain stereotypes are true. And most Californians are relatively laid back. Certainly all the ones I've ever come in contact with are pretty.
All the ones that have left the state?
Yeah. Pretty much, pretty laid back.
There's a reason for that.
Well, exactly. But they're pretty much laid back individuals just by nature. And it's kind of like the ones that do stay kind of like end up going along to get along, even if they didn't start out like that. They're kind of like all the actors that go out to Hollywood and aren't like that to start with, but become like that because they just want to go along to get along, and they want to keep getting jobs, and then eventually they just become that. It's the same sort of thing. Those are the people. Those are the ones that stay. The good ones that were laid back to begin with. They're kind of just like, oh, it's all right. Oh, you want to do this crazy?
See, that's why I have such respect for James Woods, because he doesn't give a shit. Still one of the most awesome actors in Hollywood, and he has a fantastic levels of approval as an actor and as a person in Hollywood. Not from the liberal crowd, obviously, but like conservatives love James Woods. They'd probably go to a movie with James Woods in it just to watch James Woods be James Woods.
Well, we've talked about that before. When Dave?
Yes, we did.
Dave with the world tour, right? James Woods world tour. Or at least the USA tour. We just send him around doing speaking engagements, and I think Dave live tweeted him that night. And
Lord, if I could afford to do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't agree with a lot of his politics, but as we talked about during that episode, I'm a huge James Woods fan. But how many James Woods are there? There's not. Most people, for the reasons specifically for the reasons, even my sister who the actress who I'm slightly estranged from at the current moment, as most of my family has either disowned me altogether or we're not really on speaking terms. She was by no means a conservative, but as she got older, she started to become more so. And especially when she finally started listening to my dad and realizing that he wasn't as crazy as we all thought he was at one point, long after I had realized that he wasn't completely crazy with some of the stuff that he was saying. But so she started to come around a lot of these things, but because of her livelihood, she keeps completely quiet and does not speak out. and things like she wouldn't even, I think I might have spoken about this once before, but one of the last big blowouts her and I had was the fact that she wouldn't take a picture with the BIPCOT flag for me. you know, because it'd been requested by Michael and a bunch of other Fiend fans and stuff, you know, just to, you know, not to do anything, you know, wrong with it or anything like that. Just, you know, as kind of as a laugh, we were kind of like going to make it into like a fun with flags things, like they did on the Big Bang Theory with Sheldon did. You know, we're going to hear Sheldon's sister doing it, you know, kind of like a joke. And it wasn't that she was upset about, you know, worried about that show in particular being upset about it. You know, because obviously they're now what, and I think it'll be season 9 or season 11 or some shit. I think I just read. I don't even know. And you know, they haven't had her back since season 2. So I don't think she wasn't worried about that. It was just her overall image that she didn't want to be, you know, possibly attached to anything that could look badly, as far as like being not part of that liberal progressive Hollywood crowd. And she's somebody who's done a lot of work, but, you know, she's by no means like a huge star or anything. But, you know, that's how pervasive.
She's one of those people that actually depends on Hollywood for her livelihood.
Well, yeah.
Because she doesn't make enough money to be independently wealthy yet.
Yeah, I mean, she's done decent for herself because she's gone through spurts where, you know, got things where she's gotten a lot of royalties.
Right. But I mean, she still relies on the work to carry her through. Like, she can't just be like, oh, I'm going to take, you know, 5 years off and enjoy the Bahamas for a while.
Oh yeah, exactly.
My private jet, you know, living on my yacht.
But yeah, that's
Leo DiCaprio. asshole wins an Oscar. And what does he do? Becomes an asshole. Wow. Damn it!
Takes a private jet to a climate change award.
It was bound to happen. But you know what? We still have the growing pains.
Yeah, I know. So. But I've been rooting for him so long to get that Oscar, and then he just gets the Oscar and he just shits all over me. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Well, just remember from his pre-Oscar days, you know, like The Departed and Growing Pains. I'm good with that. You guys remember when he was on Growing Pains way back in the day?
No, I do not.
Nope. Thank goodness.
That was him, right? I think it was him. Anyway,
I'm almost certain it wasn't, but hey, we'll.
Somebody should look that up, Jason. Look that up.
I don't know. I don't know enough to say, but who knows? You know what? Anything's possible.
You got your internet's running right now for that, right, Jason? Look that up for me, quick. I'm almost. I'll declare I was wrong, but I'm almost positive it was him that played the younger adopted brother or something. Kind of like the jump the shark moments of a show, you know. Like when they brought Ted McGinley into Married with Children. But anyway, yeah, that's how pervasive that it is down in that culture. So yeah, well, like I said, while I don't agree with James Woods, it's great that he does. I mean, but how many are there? There's not, because most of them, unless you're James Woods, you're gonna get your ass blacklisted in a heartbeat.
And you know what? That really pisses me off because, I mean, there's so many conservative movies that could be made and they're never going to be made. Ever.
Or if they are, they're likely going to be twisted.
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course. It was like I was watching, there's a video series on YouTube called Everything Wrong with Insert Movie Title in under however many minutes. Like Roland Emmerich, for whatever reason, Roland Emmerich, when he displays fathers in his films, they're always really shitty dads. They're like the shittiest dads imaginable.
Yeah.
It's like the default go-to of why your character has flaws. Like, oh, I have a shitty dad, or I have shitty parents. Like, that's great.
Well, that's
You were right, Jeremy. He was on Growing Pains. He played Luke Brower, a homeless boy who was taken in by the Seaver family.
Yes. See, I was just.
Damn. All right. Good on you, boss.
I thought
before my time, but good on you.
I thought you were bothered. I thought you were just giving up on me. So I actually went to go look on my phone, and I just found it when you said that. But yeah, I was right. See, I do remember. Wow.
Yeah, you're old.
I am old. Growing pains rock, man. Yeah. Oh yeah. But the whole thing you were saying about the bad parents and stuff like that. I mean, that's like something that started with the aforementioned with Married with Children. You know, while I still find that to be one of the funniest shows ever, one of the sitcoms ever on TV, and it's definitely still one of my favorites. You know, that was kind of like making the father like the '60s, like all the '60s and shows and stuff like that, where the family was together and the father was always a good guy. Like they started making the father into like the buffoon. And like the butt of the jokes.
Yes, exactly.
And that was
hell. You can see that. You can see that shit in commercials. Like, how many times have you seen a commercial where it's like, a a dad, and then the mom's like trying to get him to do something, and he does like something just completely stupid, or he doesn't know what he's doing, and the mom just gives him that look like, "Oh, you,
oh, honey."
Yeah, like that condescending gaze, like, "Oh, you're basically just a large child. You have no idea what you're doing. It's okay. I'll shoulder the burden."
But damn that patriarchy.
Yeah, Married with Children is what I would call the ultimate anti-Leave Her the Beaver TV show, right? And it totally was like it was complete opposite roles. Like the son turned out to be a dweeb. The dad, Al Bundy. I mean, that's as far
Everybody's favorite loser,
Wally Cleaver, as you could get. And then Peggy Bundy. That's as far from Jude Cleaver as you could get.
Yeah, this is 100% true.
Oh, well, it wasn't a Ward. Ward was the father.
Oh, Ward was the dad. Wally was the older brother.
Yeah, it was the other brother. Yeah. I normally don't even like bother to pay attention to that stuff because I don't watch a lot of things anymore. But it's you can see it. I mean, for all the people that think that when that's just like right wing conspiracies and stuff like that, and it's like no, just pay attention. It really is. Like when you watch show.
Yeah, if you watch these shows and movies critically and look for like recurring themes, you'll see them. They're there. They're there. They're going out of their way to make traditional values or any sort of thing that points towards conservatism out to be either a neutral influence or like something that doesn't really have much of an influence and is really just kind of backdrop, or it's a negative thing, like it's something that the character has to overcome or something.
Yeah,
I don't know, that bugs the shit out of me, and which really sucks for me because I love film. I love watching movies.
I do too.
Going to the theater, sitting there, and then getting lost in like some creative experience.
I hate going to the movies.
Well, good for you. Here's a gold star.
Well, I think
both suck.
I think we may have talked about it at some point on the show, but I got spoiled a long time ago because years back I had a buddy of mine had this friend who was the manager of a theater. And he would close it down every Thursday night before a big, whatever big releases were coming out on Friday. And he would close down early on Thursday and invite a certain amount of people in to hang out and watch the movies, the new releases the night before. Because
he told us about that.
And drink and smoke and do pretty much whatever else we wanted in there. I knew plenty. I don't remember if I ever did, but I knew plenty of people that had sex in there while we were watching there too. But anyway, once you have that for a while, once you get that spoiled, watching the movie on the big screen, the first time I went back, I was so miserable. And in the days of
you check your movie theater privilege.
Hey, listen, man,
starting to show
in the days of VPNs. Which I of course don't use. I of course obtain all the movies I watch legally.
Yes,
but in the days of VPNs, there's really no need to leave and big screen TVs. There's really no need to leave your couch.
That is simply not true, and that'll never be true for me. I refuse. I don't buy into that at all. There is something. Okay, so aside from like the obvious crap that you have to deal with getting into the theater, there is something magical about sitting in a chair in front of a gigantic screen in complete darkness, watching a film with like unbelievable sound and just getting lost in it for, 2 hours. There's something to be said about it. It's not the same experience at home. It's
not the same experience. Yeah, I'm not discounting that.
Okay, let me clarify. It's not a good enough experience at home.
That's fine. That's fine for you. Like I said, for me, it's not. I mean, yeah, sure. There's certain movies that I'm sure would look better, but if you're gonna like from that perspective, I think for me at least, like I would still hold that. I don't want to say necessarily reverence, but I guess to a certain extent that is for like a drive-in theater.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I miss the drive-ins. I will go to a drive-in rather than go to an actual movie theater.
Like I get what you're saying, Andre, and to some extent I do agree with you.
I would go to a drive-in instead of an actual movie theater too. So okay. I'm with you on that.
Well, there you go. Which is funny because the sound isn't as good, and there's much more things to be able to have you to allow you to get distracted by, and often
this is true. But like drive-ins offer their own experience. So
exactly,
that's like another caliber of thing.
Drive-in. I saw both Jurassic Park and arachnophobia as a kid at the drive-in. Both of them, I was curled up in a blanket in the back of the truck. I didn't want to move. You can't get that in a movie theater.
Yeah, of course. Well, you want to talk about old? I think I saw is it not Terms of Endearment? No. What was it? The Jewel of the Nile, and there was another one. It was Michael Douglas and. Anyway, movies from like the early 80s, stuff like that. Because, yeah, I'm that old.
Oh, you're talking about like that adventure movie? Where
yeah, there was two of them.
Yeah, okay, I know which one
there
you're
was the
talking
Jewel
about. I
of
can't
the
remember the
Nile,
name of it,
and
but
the
I know which
second
one you're
one,
talking
the
about.
second, whatever the second one was the one that I was the one that
Romancing the Stone.
Thank you, Romancing the Stone. That's
yes.
it. Thank you. That was. I think that was one of the last ones I might have seen. No, I probably saw at least a couple, but that's one of the last ones I remember. You know, go with my parents and my sister. Going to see those.
My mom loved both those movies. I couldn't stand them.
Oh man,
that
whole alligator scene.
corny scene where he's holding the alligator by the tail, and it drops into the water, and he saves the girl, and then it's the next scene. It shows her walking down the street. There's this giant sailboat on the middle of Fifth Avenue in New York City. She climbs the rope, and he's got the alligator boots. You cannot get more corny than that.
But dude, that's what the 80s was about, man. Come on.
Nowadays, that sailboat would have been shot full of holes.
Yeah, I mean, back then it would have been shot full of holes. Or at least stripped in under a minute and a half.
I mean, come on. They spray painted a dead whale in New Jersey. All right, that sailboat's not getting through the Bronx.
Wait, what? What?
A couple in New Jersey, there was a whale that washed up on the shore, and people tagged it. It happened out in San Francisco too, and they tried to light the whale on fire.
Wait, was it already dead?
Yeah, it was already dead when it washed up. Yes.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's weird. I don't know if I have any like moral issue with it or anything, but I don't know why you would do that. I mean.
All I can say is one of my fondest memories of movie theaters was going to watch Star Wars, the special editions, when they were released in theaters in '97. That was an experience I will treasure and remember for the rest of my life.
See, I never got around to doing that. I only watched, I think I only saw Empire in the theaters when the re-release came out. I didn't see. I bought all. I own all of them, but I think. Can
you call yourself a nerd? I'm gonna revoke your license.
I try not to call myself a nerd anymore.
Sitting here trying to think on it, I think the last time that I went to a movie theater was with my kids, and we saw Transformers 2.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
so that's gotta be like 2007, 2009, something like that.
Yeah,
something like that.
It's been a while for me. I know I've gone since I've had kids. I can't remember what I've seen, but I know I've seen a couple of things. But I'm trying to. Yeah, we haven't taken the kids yet. I'm trying to avoid it. Still don't know if they're ready to actually sit still through an entire theater. Especially.
Oh, no way.
My daughter definitely is not. She's way too young, but
well, I mean, they're old enough that they sit and watch. When they watch movies when they're here with me, like they'll watch a full feature film, and sometimes they're great. They can sit through the whole thing, and then there's other times when one or both of them goes through. They're like, I decide I have to potty every half an hour randomly, even though I'm more than big enough to hold my bladder and stuff like that. So I don't know which kids will show up that day. That's and I really don't want to spend money or even waste the gift cards that I have that have been collecting dust for a while. If we're not actually gonna if we're gonna miss most of the movie, and then I'm gonna have to listen to that because then they'll be mad about that because they're really not gonna grasp the whole we can't rewind this thing.
Oh yeah. Plus, you can't go without. You can't not get the popcorn. You can't not get the candy.
Oh
you can't not
yeah,
get
trust
the
me.
soda.
I go through that. I go through that struggle with myself every time I go to the theaters, and every time I lose.
Ever since
I buy the shit.
Ever since I was younger, unless I was on a date, I would usually try to smuggle stuff in, so I did not have to buy it. Like my friends and I started doing that when we were like, 14 and 15, and started getting dropped off at the mall all the time to hang out. Like we'd end up catching a movie or something, and just go to CVS or any drugstore or whatever, and go to the candy aisle and the soda aisle and just stock up on stuff. And smuggle it in, and that just carried.
And I think that's part of the reason why I like going to the movie theaters, because part of it for me is every time I go, I get a bucket of popcorn and a large soda. Like I've considered smuggling stuff in, and I know I could, but I don't want to. I go to have popcorn with a shit ton of butter on it and a large drink.
My brother does that too, and he gets the collector cups.
Yes. I don't know how many of those pieces of junk sitting in my friggin' cabinet.
Wow.
We got about a dozen. He's never used them again.
They're great in a pinch. Like if I just forget to do, the dishes for a couple of days, I'm like, well, shit, I need something for Kate to drink out of. Oh, hey, here we go. This is still clean, has been clean. Just wash it out, get the dust out. We're good. Solid.
Here's a 40-ounce cup for your little bit of juice.
That's right. Yeah. There you go, baby. Drink up.
Well, I'm all for the nostalgia of that type of stuff, and I get it. It just for me it was one of those like revelations when the prices just kept climbing and climbing and climbing, and it's just like I can't. Like I said, even on the times that I was going to plan on doing it, because occasionally I'll buy it, and sure that the popcorn's yummy, but then like I remember how watered down the soda usually is. It's just like it's so not worth it at the prices they charge, and
this is true.
It was just another
true.
Between that and me getting spoiled for that, like it was 9 to 12 months. It just kind of the combination of those two things was just like, you know what, it's just so not worth it for me anymore.
Since we're on the topic of movies, what do you guys think would be a good like anarchist, voluntarist, libertarian film? Like I want to get some ideas. I want to get some thoughts running through my head. Lately, I've been wanting to write stories, and I'm just like completely sapped for creative energy because I have to use my brain all the time.
A good anarchist movie.
Best movie pitch, go.
Well, whatever you do, I highly suggest you don't take a book about a futuristic society that you don't actually make the movie until you almost reach the time frame of your futuristic society, and don't bother to update anything and make it one of the most insane, overly blown pieces of propaganda and crappy and probably the worst piece of film ever made, aka Alongside Night. As long as you stay away from that, you'll be fine. Have you ever seen that piece of garbage, Andre?
No, I haven't. What is this?
Alongside Night is the film adaptation of J. Neil Schumann's libertarian or agorist, I guess, actually sci-fi, well, not sci-fi-ish fantasy from the early 70s, I guess, mid 70s, late 70s, somewhere around there. I don't remember exactly when he wrote it. The book was very good on all accounts. I haven't actually got around to reading it, but the movie adaptation he didn't do until like, I don't know, 8 years ago or something like that, because Kevin Sorbo plays one of the lead roles. But he did it on such a ridiculously low budget. It is like, we make fun of this show on the Fiends all the time. It is one of the most horrible movies like ever made. Like, there's Kevin Sorbo and a couple other named people, but he like I said, the book supposedly is really good, but he just like, he had to do everything on the cheap, and he crammed, and it was just like this giant propaganda piece, because like on every wall, every door, every like camera pan, there's usually like pictures or posters or bumper stickers or buttons or just anything that has like some kind of libertarian logo on it, or just anything you could do to cram, like just imagine some advertiser got high on LSD and just started cramming everything they had in their folder into one ad. It was just like, that's what it was. It was just everywhere. Like they're walking down the street and for absolutely no reason, there's a giant jumbotron of Ron Paul giving a speech, even though Ron Paul is not in the movie at all, except for the clips of him giving speeches, like actual speeches he's given. For no reason at all, Adam Kokesh is doing some kind of weird rally in on the corner of some street. Jordan Page is giving an impromptu concert.
They just crammed that, like they just beat you over the head with it.
Everything is just beating you over the head, and most of the stuff isn't updated because like you would think that he waited that long. No, actually I think it might even be later. It might have actually been after Bitcoin that you think he could have updated to cryptocurrencies. No, it was still gold, and like the lead character was carrying around this belt with like that carried like a whole crap load of gigantic gold coins in it.
It came out in 2014, so they should have been well aware.
There you go. But
aware.
He is now. This guy, J. Neil Schumann, is an insane motherfucker, and we go to battle. Like we battled with him on Facebook and Twitter all the time, and it started with Jim Jesus and Michael Dean because they made fun of the movie, and he took to calling anybody who bashes his movie. He claims they can't be libertarian. And they especially can't be agorist because he claims he's the only surviving person who has the authority to speak on agorism because in his mind he helped co-create it with what's his name?
Konkin.
Konkin, yeah, thank you. Which, as we mentioned, to come full circle to the beginning of the show, is actually kind of funny because as we've learned through Shane's and Kyle's work and now Jason's on the Vonu podcast, Rayu and his group were essentially doing agorism a decade plus before, well before Konkin came out with his stuff. So the fact that this guy is trying to claim, because he claims to be an agorist and a libertarian, but he's extremely pro IP. So he thinks he has some proprietary claim to agorism just because Konkin mentioned the fact that his book, the book that the movie Alongside Night was made out of was kind of like to paraphrase, it was some like a shining example of the ideas he was talking about. Like he was saying, he basically took the agorism ideas and actually put them into the cinematic form, and because of that, he's like, I helped co-create it.
Oh, God. I am agorism.
And like to the extent where like Michael actually like looked into this stuff, and to the extent where this like he got multiple accounts banned from Wikipedia because he kept altering his own, either his bios or anything to do with agorism and stuff like that, and he kept trying to enter the his information himself to say that he was the co-creator.
Oh my God.
And he kept getting busted. I think he's had at least 2 accounts banned from there. And then they started tracking his IP address. Something along those lines. But he's just J. Neil Schumann. He's a crazy guy who apparently was a pretty good sci-fi writer and one of a libertarian agorist to boot back in the 70s. And he's still trying to rest on those laurels all these years later because he finally got out of making the movie. It was a steaming pile of crap. And just because a lot of people, didn't say glowing things about it, they just basically said, nice things, which essentially meant they were just trying to be nice to the guy. Like all these
shit doesn't matter, but hey, we're not going to bash you for it. So here you go.
All these, like he always likes to point to like these big name, like these big name OG libertarians and stuff who like say that they actually usually start to reference the book though instead of the movie itself because like I said, by most accounts the book was great. But the film adaptation is a fucking joke and a half. But it's one of those things that's so bad you have to watch it. And I think you can still actually get it free on YouTube currently.
Nice.
But yeah, it's definitely one of those.
That's the mark of any good film. You can find it free on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, which is funny because if it's not there, it's definitely free in some other place. But which is really funny because of his whole thing about being pro IP. But he just insists that, but like I said, the guy's gotten crazy because he's still trying to reclaim, even I think even his donation page on his website is something along the facts that I've always given away all my stuff for free, and I still do, but not that he's just not that I've done that. So like now I'm finally asking for donations, but he's doing it on the basis that he actually feels he's owed for all that work that people have taken advantage of for free, and now he wants to basically be paid for
value.
Exactly. But again, he thinks he's the arbiter of agorism and libertarianism because that's anytime. Because I wrote a review after, I actually sat and watched the movie, and then I sat and watched. Actually, if you don't want to sit through the movie, I highly suggest you go to Jim Jesus's, and I'll try to remember to put this in the show notes. But Jim Jesus's YouTube channel, and watch his review of the movie, because I believe he does it while watching the movie, if I remember correctly. But it's like 3 parts. It's he does, Jim's great at dissecting things like that, and he just totally points out all not just the blatant propaganda, but all the insane things that don't make sense, the parts that don't line up, and all this stuff, and just how horrible this movie really is. And I think that's what started this whole thing, because J. Neil Schumann immediately said that Jim had to be a Fed, and then started declaring.
Oh yeah, of course. Anybody who disagrees with me is a Fed.
Mm-hmm. So so I'll put some of this stuff in the show notes, but yeah, definitely if you want a really good laugh, I highly suggest you check that out, because it's a really, really, really bad movie. and the acting, from what I remember, the acting outside, I always have a soft spot for Kevin Sorbo. I don't know why.
He was Hercules.
He's really not a bad actor. He really isn't. And he's a genuinely good dude.
Well, but I think the other thing is, going back to what we were saying about James Woods before, is he's another one of those very rare. He's not as outspoken as Woods, but he's another one of those rare. He's actually pretty much. I think he's a libertarian, actually, or a political libertarian. But he's another one of those who he actually has been blacklisted to a certain extent, because he has spoken up on certain things. But I think that might have been why. I think that's why I originally had a soft spot for him. But outside of him, I all the acting is just so wooden. It's so bad. Anyway, I think I'm done bashing Schulman for now. We should probably get wrapping up anyway. But
it doesn't sound like he doesn't deserve it. So
no, just because he's such an asshole about it. I wrote a review on my honest opinions about it, and he immediately said I was a shill. And he loves to use the word liar or lying. He says you're lying when you say you don't like it. It's like, no, dude, you don't understand how opinions work. Wait a minute, this is not like.
If you're a libertarian, you would have liked this film.
That's exactly what he's saying. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm like, I'm a full blown anarchist, and I think this. I'm like, I'm not gonna knock your book, but I think this movie is one of the biggest pieces of crap, if not the biggest piece of crap I've ever seen. I'm not making that up. You can't call me a liar for my opinion. I don't think you don't. That's not how this works. Not how any of it works.
Oh, some people.
Yeah.
Good times.
Anywho, so like I said, let's get wrapping up. Jason, man, thank you very much for filling in for Dave tonight. Good to have you here as always.
Nope.
Yeah, thanks for being on, man.
No problem. I didn't contribute a whole lot to it, but
I was on a roll, man. I'm sorry.
No, it was good having you on, man. It was.
It's always fun to hang out with you guys for a bit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm sorry. I obviously, I said before the show, I don't know what we're going to talk about, and then I found a lot of things to talk about me, so there we went.
Well, it's because you're so interesting.
I don't know about
all. It's all right, though.
I don't know about all that, but
I don't either. I was just saying it to make you feel better.
Thanks.
Did it work?
Appreciate it. Well, if you hadn't told me, it might have. Now whatever feelings I have are gone, man. They're just gone.
Great, man.
Thanks,
if you have to explain the joke, it's not funny. God.
Exactly. But well, no, just like I said before, I haven't been able to talk about a lot of this stuff, and I really do. I really do want to be able to tell the entire story from start to finish and finally get my side of it out there. But I haven't been able to.
Well, in another 6 to 8 months, you may have the opportunity.
Oh man, if it takes that long for this trial, it's gonna be insane. I'll probably go insane. I really hope not. It really, because again, this is regardless of the backstory and the people's personal feelings about me. This is a case about even though this second charge is completely trumped up, this is a case of 2 misdemeanors. That's what I'm facing in the end. 2 misdemeanors, and it's got. I've already had. This was my 6th court appearance. I've had to make 5 of them, but there's been 6 appearances by either me and or my counsel already, and the next one on Halloween will be number 7, and that's more likely than not, looking like right now, is going to be me saying, "No thanks, I'm rejecting that deal. I want to go to trial." And then seeing what their next move after that is once they realize who my new counsel is. Like I said, nothing's set in stone yet, but so at the very least, there's going to be seven appearances before we even get to anything near a trial. And even though we had to, two of the adjournments were by my side, but it was both for the same reason, because the DA dragged their feet to the last possible minute. And left us in a very bad position, left us in a very precarious position. And it was like we really didn't have much of an option but to do that, or go ahead either kind of blind or in a less than preferable outcome. So, essentially all five of the adjournments have been theirs. The bastards. Anyway.
Yep. That's par for the course with the state, though.
Always. They try to wear you down because they have more resources than you do.
Yep. So, exactly. Once again, hashtag please donate. All right. Anyway, so as I mentioned earlier in the show, there are multiple ways now to donate to the show, to not just to me, but to the show itself. We have multiple cryptocurrency wallets, because we have been getting fairly regular Bitcoin donations, but I know everybody's hodling these days, and I don't blame you. I'm hodling myself, so that's okay. But for anybody else who is into other cryptos that they're not so concerned about hodling at the moment, we'd be more than happy to accept Ethereum, ZCash, Dash, or LiteCoin. I think are the 4 that we have up there right now. And if anybody else wants to donate anything else and Steam, if Andre gives me his information, we'll put that up there too. So if anybody has any Steam they want to donate, and of course our Patreon. And once again, thank you everybody who's continued to support our Patreon page. And now there will be at least 1 episode coming out a week for the next couple of months, as I finally get through the backlog of things we have stored up in the past few months of doing this show. So thank you everybody for listening. All of our content can be found at solpodcast.org, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Seeds of liberty. 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 Seeds of liberty.
Are you sick of seeing peaceful people being locked away for victimless crimes? Instead of trying to get out of jury duty, consider taking it so you can do the right thing. A single juror with a conscience can send someone home to their family instead of to a jail cell. If there's no victim, how can there be a crime? And if the judge or prosecutor are keeping you in the dark, what are they trying to hide? You can vote your conscience instead of being a pawn of the state. For more information, Google jury nullification or check out the Fully Informed Jury Association at fija.org.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like? Then this free ebook may save your life. Rats is your guide to protecting yourself against snitches, informers, informants, agents provocateur, narcs, finks, and similar vermin. Rats was written by OG libertarian Claire Wolfe. Rats is a short book, easy to read, and available free in many formats. Download Rats free at rats-nosnitch.com. That's rats-nosnitch.com.